In this lecture, we are going to see that how a heavy charged particle interact with matter. So what is the procedure of finding the energy loss in the case of heavy charged particle? In the previous lecture, we discussed about the nuclear radiations, and we classified the nuclear radiations as the heavy charged particles, light charged particles, and the uncharged particles. So there we studied that any particle, any nuclear radiation, when enters a medium, it starts interacting with the atoms of the medium. And while doing so, it transfers its own energy. The nuclear radiations or the particles, they start transferring their energy to the orbital electrons, or you can say to the atoms of the medium. So now we are going to see that how the heavy charged particles, they lose their energy in the medium. So the heavy charged particles, light charged particles, and the uncharged particles, they lose their energy in the medium through different processes. So firstly, we are going to see the interaction of heavy charged particle with matter. So heavy charged particles, they interact via the Coulombic forces. The heavy charged particles, they cause ionizations and excitations. They just cause ionization and excitations inside the medium in which they are traveling. So they interact through the Coulombic forces. As the heavy charged particle is charged particle, and the orbital electrons in the medium or in the matter, they are also charged particles. So they both interact via the Coulombic forces. So the interaction is the Coulombic interaction of heavy charged particle with the medium. So heavy charged particles interact mainly through Coulombic force with orbital electrons of the atoms in the matter. Now we are going to derive that what is the energy loss in the case of heavy charged particle. So the formula that we will get at the end of this derivation will be called as the Bohr's formula of energy loss. And after that, we will do certain modifications and we will get a new formula which will be called as the Bloch formula. So now we are going to do the mathematical derivation, and in this derivation we assume certain points. So the first assumption is that the binding energies of the orbital electrons, as the heavy charged particle enters a medium. So this medium is made up of large number of atoms. So it is made up of large number of atoms. So there will be some electrons revolving around the nucleus of the atoms of the medium. So the heavy charged particle will interact with the orbital electrons. So this heavy charged particle will also interact with the nucleus, but the energy which is lost to this nucleus, the energy transferred to this nucleus is very less as compared to the energy which is transferred to the orbital electrons. So we will only discuss about the energy which is transferred to the orbital electrons. So the heavy charged particle interacts with the orbital electrons of the atoms of the medium. So first assumption is that the binding energy of these orbital electrons, they are bound to the nucleus. So to remove them from the nucleus, to remove them from the field of the nucleus, it needs a certain amount of extra energy, and that is what we call as the binding energy. So binding energy for the case of orbital electrons is very small as compared to the energy of the incident particle. So the energy of the incident particle, as this particle is moving with a certain velocity, so it will have certain amount of energy. The orbital electrons, they are also bound to the nucleus and they require certain amount of energy to get knocked out of the nucleus. Now we assume that the energy of this heavy charged particle is very large as compared to the energy or the binding energy of the orbital electrons. So these orbital electrons, they will be seen as just free electrons to the heavy charged particle. So the binding energy of the orbital electrons is very less as compared to the energy of the heavy charged particles. So these electrons, they will be seemed as free electrons to this heavy charged particle. So binding energies of the orbital electrons are small as compared to the energy of the incident charged particle. So electrons can be regarded as free electrons, since their binding energy is very less. So they may be regarded as free electrons. Now next assumption is that velocity of the incident particle is much greater than the velocity of the orbital electrons. So these orbital electrons, they are revolving around the nucleus with a certain velocity, and the heavy charged particle is also moving with a certain velocity. So the second assumption is that the velocity of this heavy charged particle is very greater as compared to the velocity of the orbital electrons. So the orbital electrons can be considered to be at rest, since their velocity is very small as compared to the velocity of the heavy charged particle. So they can be regarded to be at rest. So they can be considered as rest. The last assumption is that the incident charged particle, this heavy charged particle, loses a very small fraction of its kinetic energy in each interaction with an electron. So if we talk about a single electron in the medium and the heavy charged particle is traveling in this medium, so at a particular instant of time, so this heavy charged particle, it will lose certain amount of energy to this electron. It will transfer some of its kinetic energy to this orbital electron. So the incident charged particle loses a very small fraction. It loses a very small amount of its kinetic energy in each interaction with an electron. So the velocity of charged particle, this charged particle can be considered to be constant at any instant of time. So it loses very small amount of energy to a single electron. We are talking about a single electron in the medium. So there are large amount of electrons in the medium. But if we talk about a single electron, this heavy charged particle loses very small amount of its kinetic energy. It transfers very small amount of kinetic energy. So at any instant of time, we can say that the velocity of the heavy charged particle is constant. So now we are going to start the derivation, in which we will derive the energy which is lost by this heavy charged particle inside this medium. So the amount of energy, the formula how to calculate the amount of energy which is lost by this charged particle inside this medium. So that we are going to, the derivation we are going to start in this lecture. So first we will evaluate the small amount of energy transferred to a single electron. So this medium is made up of atoms, and each atom has its orbital electrons. So all these electrons, they are present in a very large amount inside the medium, and this heavy charged particle will lose its kinetic energy to all the electrons which are present inside the medium. So to simplify this derivation, to simplify the calculation of finding the energy loss of this heavy charged particle, first of all we are going to do is we are going to find out the energy loss in the case of one electron. So we will just take a single electron in the medium and we will find out the formula that how much energy is lost to a single electron, how much energy is transferred to a single electron by this heavy charged particle, and after that we will do the integration over the whole medium, and that will give us the total energy loss. Here we are considering a heavy charged particle which is moving with a certain velocity v, and the charge on this heavy charged particle is equal to z into e. So if you are considering it to be an alpha particle, the alpha particle is entering the medium, so the charge on the alpha particle will be plus 2e. So in that case z will be equal to 2. And in the case of deuteron, the charge will be equal to plus 1e, and in the case of proton also the charge will be plus 1e. So the mass of this heavy charged particle is considered to be equal to capital M. So this charged particle is entering the medium with a certain velocity v, and over here I have shown this as the electron which is present in the medium. So at this instant I am just taking a single electron, and mass of this electron is equal to me. Now heavy charged particle is moving along this axis, and we will consider this axis. The trajectory of the heavy charged particle will be considered to be along the x-axis, and this electron is considered to be present on the y-axis. So this will be the origin of the coordinate system, and the electron is present over here, and heavy charged particle is moving along this path. So this minimum distance between the heavy charged particle and the electron, so this perpendicular distance, this is equal to small b, and we call it as the impact parameter. So this is the electron of the absorber atom, or you can say the absorbing medium. So this is the electron which is present inside the medium, and heavy charged particle is entering the medium. So now we are going to see that how much amount of energy is transferred to this electron by the heavy charged particle. So the amount of energy which will be transferred to the electron will be the same amount of energy which is lost by the heavy charged particle. So first we are going to see the amount of energy which is transferred to a single electron inside the medium, and that will be the same as that of the energy lost by this heavy charged particle. So in this case we consider the heavy charged particle to be at a certain point, so it is moving along the x-axis. So at any instant of time the heavy charged particle is at this point C, capital C. So this C point, let's say it is at a distance of small r. This distance between this charged particle and this electron, the distance is equal to small r, and r is making a certain angle theta with the x-axis. So as the charged particle will move, the distance r will change as well as the angle theta will change. So what will be the force acting on this electron by this heavy charged particle? So we will use the Coulombic force expression, which is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 into q2 divided by r square. So that will give us the force which is applied on this electron by this heavy charged particle. Since the heavy charged particle, it can be alpha particle, proton or deuteron, its charge is positive and this electron is negatively charged. So there will be an attractive force. So the force on this electron will be experienced along this direction. So the force will be along this direction. So what will be the expression of the Coulomb force? It will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Q1 is Z into E. Q2 is just E divided by R square, which is R is the distance between the two charges. So Q1 and Q2, which we take in the formula of the Coulomb force, they are just the magnitudes. So we do not take the negative sign. The force will be along this direction. Now this force will be divided into two components. One will be the horizontal component and another will be the vertical component. So one will be along the minus x-axis or just the x-axis you can say, and one will be along the y-axis. So there will be two components of the forces. Now the charged particle, heavy charged particle is present at this point, capital C. So we will consider the same charged particle as it is traveling along this direction. We consider this charged particle to reach at this point, which is C prime. Now C prime point is such that it is at the same distance from the origin as the point C. So this OC distance is exactly equal to OC prime. So this C prime point is on the x-axis and it is at the same distance from O as the point C. So the point C will be at a certain distance from the origin. So this C prime will be at the same distance from the origin. So if you consider the heavy charged particle to be present at this point at any other instant, because at a particular instant the heavy charged particle is at this point, and as it will travel, it after some time it will reach this point. So when the heavy charged particle was at C, the force was along this direction. The two components of the forces will be, one will be along this direction and another will be along this direction. And if the heavy charged particle after some time reaches this C prime point, then the force will be along this direction. And in that case also you can divide the force in two components. One will be the horizontal component, another will be the vertical component. And you can see that the horizontal component in this case was along this direction, and at this point or at this instant the horizontal component will be along this direction. So the horizontal components, they will cancel each other. So the momentum imparted to the electron will be just because of the vertical component or the y component of the force. The x component of the force will not contribute to the momentum of this orbital electron. So whatever momentum will be imparted to this electron inside the medium will be just due to this vertical force. So we consider a Cartesian coordinate system over here. Now x-axis coincides with the pathway of the incident particle. So incident particle is moving along this path and x-axis is also assumed to be along this path. So they both coincide with each other. Now the electron that participates in the interaction, so this electron in the medium that participates in the interaction lies on the y-axis at a distance b from the origin O. So this electron, which we are supposing, this electron is at a distance of small b from the origin, and this is called as impact parameter. So we suppose that at any instant of time the incoming particle is at C, the heavy charged particle is at C at a distance r from the electron of mass me. So this point C is at a distance of r from the electron of mass me. Now force acting on the electron due to the incident particle. So what will be the force? It will be along this direction. So the force will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Z into E. Here we write only the magnitude. So the charge on the electron is E divided by r square. So this is the expression of force which is acting on the electron due to the incident particle. Now this force can be divided into, so this is the force. Now this angle is theta. Now the horizontal component. The horizontal component will be along this direction, and the vertical component will be along this direction. So if this angle is theta, then what will be this angle? This angle will also be equal to theta. So this will be the x component of the force, and this will be the y component of the force. So the total force is F. The magnitude of total force is F, the horizontal component is Fx, and the vertical component is Fy. So the horizontal component Fx will be nothing but equal to F cos theta, and Fy will be equal to F sin theta. So Fx will be equal to F cos theta, and Fy will be equal to F sin of theta. So this you can write by inserting this expression. Now this force is equal to Z square by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. So you can write Fx as Z square by 4 pi epsilon naught r square into cos of theta, and the y component of force is Z square by 4 pi epsilon naught r square into sin theta. Now we consider another point C prime. We consider another point C prime on the trajectory of the incident particle such that C and C prime are on opposite sides. So C and C prime, they are on the opposite sides and equidistant from O. So they are at equal distance from the origin of the coordinate system. Now the two Fx components of the force. So one is this Fx component of the force, and when the charged particle will reach this point C prime, there will be another Fx component and they both will be opposite to each other. The two Fx components of the force acting on electron when incident particle is at C and C prime. So when the incident particle is at C and C prime, we will get two horizontal components. They will cancel with each other because they are in the opposite direction. So they will cancel with each other. Therefore, the Fx component, the x component of the force, do not contribute to the momentum transfer to the electron through the entire journey of the incident particle. So as the incident particle traverses the whole trajectory, as it travels through the medium, the x component of the force will not contribute to the momentum of the orbital electron, because it is only due to the force that momentum is imparted. As you know that force is equal to dp by dt according to Newton's second law. So if there is force, some force always imparts a momentum to the particle on which it is acting. So in this case, the x component of the forces will cancel with each other because they are pointing in the opposite direction. Now if the charged particle is at this point, let's suppose it is at this point, then the x component of the force, in this particular case, the x component will be cancelled by this situation when the heavy charged particle is at this much distance. It is at the same distance from the origin. So x component, both x component of the forces will cancel with each other. So to every point on the left hand side, there is always a point on the right hand side such that the x component of the forces will cancel with each other in all the situations. So x component of force will never contribute to the momentum which is imparted to the electron. So only the y component of the force will contribute, only this expression of the force y component will contribute to the momentum which is imparted to the electron of the medium. So now we are going to find out what is the momentum imparted, and from this expression we know dp, change in momentum, is equal to f dt. So total momentum is nothing but equal to integration of f dt. So using this formula, now we are going to find out the momentum, the expression of momentum which is transferred to this electron. So in this case, we will not take the x component of the force, because as we have seen that the x component of the force never contributes to the momentum to the electron in the case of the heavy charged particle. So in this particular case, the x component of force will not contribute to the momentum imparted to the electron.